Hey Clashers, Electrogons, well, if you see them in your defenses, you're probably seeing a line of Electrogons just spamming everything in, and that's it. Well, in today's video, we are going to go in with the surgical Electrogons, which got Nikita, like this player, up to the rank 13 finish in the world, which is pretty crazy. So let's try to learn from him and see what he does. The first thing which he's always doing, he's trying to snipe certain defenses with a couple of Electrogons. Exposed defenses, exposed key defenses actually, like the Town Hall, Eagle Artillery, scatter shots. There's a lot of different options depending on how the base is set up. Like if there are nice chains, he would just take it out with a rage and just Electrogons, and that's it. Another thing which he really likes to do is one simple thing, and that is using the Flinger. Even if he only gets like few buildings like Archer Tower, air defenses, he's just going to take anything because this is already, in his opinion, enough value overall. The next thing what he's trying to accomplish is pathing into the core, because take a look at that. Everything is just so stacked up together in the core. Putting those Electrogons in is massive. The next thing you might see at this point is he is starting with the Electrogons first, because he wants to make sure that those Inferno Towers are not going down too early, because this would not give him any chains, right? And this is what this strategy is all about, giving chains to the Electrogons. A nice freeze on the back end, keeping the Electrodragon safe, making sure that he is able to take down the Eagle and the Scatter Shot in addition to that. And at this point, there is not that much damage left which could actually threaten his heroes. Yes, I know, now some people might say, iTzu, yeah, but I mean, this is only ground expos, right? Like, this is super easy, anyone could do that. I mean, I'm not sure why we don't see them more top players at the top, because we have most of the time a lot of ground expos, because, well, people like to run heroes. Ground expos are good versus it. People like to run the Flinger, and ground expos are pretty good versus that. But I can see where the confusion is coming from. So I thought I would ask Nikita if he actually has an attack versus air expos. So let's check it out. We can see every single expo, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all set to air. So what is the approach now? And remember, what are our strong points? Our strong points right now with Electrodragons are the heroes and the Flinger. And now we're going to take a look as well why in this army composition we have the Rocket Loons. Because they are here to snipe down some defenses. The first mortar is already gone. What does this mean? Well, with having an air expo right here, he's not going to cover a lot with that, and making sure that taking down a mortar with the Rocket Loons, you can take now this entire side, every single one defense out of the base, because this is an air expo. So you can see already by now why air expos are not that good if you're facing against good attackers, or at least not all of them, okay? Like 1 or 2 are fine, but not all of them. For now, he is not really sniping anything. And this is kind of maybe the biggest surprise to some of you, but there is not really a reason to snipe anything, because there is always damage. And now you might be more confused, because I thought, okay, this is about the surgical approach from Nikita onto those bases, which it overall is, as long as the base is fitting and something is exposed which you can snipe. And this is just so often that you have this happening with the ground expos. If you want to see some world's bases, for example, because all of those world's bases are using mainly ground expos. So I feel like I'm pretty confident that we're going to find a couple of those in the Clan League. So that's going to be uploaded on this channel, so I can maybe show you that as well. But for now, what you can see is just this Flinger. This is the MVP. As well, take a look at that. The Queen nearly took no damage whatsoever and is recharging now her HP with that Unicorn. The King has not even lost. Okay, he has lost quite a few hit points, but he has spawned all of those Barbarians, which at this point is already enough to overtake the remaining defenses. And this is kind of the big thing, right? If you have air expos, yes, you can take down the Electrodragons quicker. But you have most of the time Black Mines for that, right? So the Electrodragons are not the star of the show. It is the heroes and the Flinger then. And they just got so much value. At this point, there's only the air defense left, and he is swagging yet again the Royal Champion. Big disclaimer at this point though, Yes, air expos are way harder, and this is why we see those more, we don't see those replays that often from him. At the same time though, it is really rare because, as I was like perfectly showcasing, it is, let's say, not that good versus Titan attacks, versus Queen charges, and all of those attacks which are really common in the higher ranks, okay? So as soon as you're getting higher and higher in trophies, this is then where you see less and less air expos. If you're down below, just through the approach as he just did here, with a nice setup of a Flame Flinger, and just letting your heroes completely carry the attack. But let's move on because I want to show you more tricks what you can do with this army composition. First things first, it's again, he's scouting quickly if there's an outside troll tester or something, and then using the Flame Flinger right away. The next thing is, on this one, we have again 4 ground expos, which means there's not enough damage in this base to already take down only a few of the Electro-Dragons, right? But wait, actually there is, because we have the entire tester farm around the top side, and that is a big problem, because he's not getting that much value. Now the question might be, what is the next setup? Well, this is the trick I want to talk to you about, and I want to tell you about, because it's really important, really significant that you know it. And this is the interaction between the super minions and between the rage and town hall. Because 2 raged up super minions will take down the town hall without ever being in range. And this is the key thing. Well, at the same time, this Flame Flinger is already getting crazy value down here. But now we see the rage and at top and the 2 super minions to cover the town hall. This is super important to take in consideration when playing this strategy. 1 Rocketoon is about to take down this Expo, which means the Flame Flinger is staying a little bit longer safe. And then we have now from the left side the air defense snipe, because he does not worry about too much about this mortar taking down his Flame Flinger right there. And now the Electro is from the left side. So it's always about like setup, and this setup of the attack looks like searching Electro Dragons if they are a lot ground exposed, like there is not good air coverage at certain exposed defenses like this town hall. And if there is air coverage, as we have just seen before, you're trying to invest more into the Flame Flinger, like the Rocketoons, to set it up to success, and then just put the Electro Dragons in there with really making sure that your heroes are taking as least as possible damage. On this one, just take a look at the chains in the core. That is just crazy, a lot of value. Queen has to use her ability because there's the king on her. Do that early on, because this means the queen's just staying alive with more hit points, because why not, right? Like, it's always nice to have more hit points on your queen, but overall, again, it is just, the base is done. Another important thing which you might have not noticed is the Warden is using the Phoenix. The reason why you're using this pet with Electro Dragon is pretty simple. You like to rage up Electro Dragons. That's common sense, right? Like, the Electro Dragon chains are then even more effective. But if you have an owl on your Warden, this means the owl is going to deal more damage as well, because it's raged up as well. And this means overall less chains from the Electro Dragons in the core, because the buildings are going down quicker, which is not good. And that's why the Phoenix is more important, because there's more power on the back end, and not as many buildings are going down in the core, which means more lightnings, and that's better for you. But let's talk about the overall approach, the overall idea of this attack, because as I have mentioned earlier in this video, the star player of this attack is not the Electro Dragons. The star player is, as always, the heroes, and those Electro Dragons are just here to set them up. How can I actually show you that? Well, let's do the perfect example. First off, we have the Flame Flinger at the top side. Because we have 4 ground expos, the Flame Flinger is not going to be as successful. So it's only all about just taking down like 3 buildings. That's pretty much it. But what he does meanwhile, he's going to take down ground expos. Now you wonder, iTzu, he's doing an Electro Dragon attack. Why would you ever take down ground expos? They're useless versus Electro Dragons, right? But what he does on this one, he is going to think about the Electro Dragons more like a tool to take down damage of the base, which then means less damage on the heroes, and this is what he overall tries to accomplish. So let's take a look at that. He has taken care of a lot of damage on the back end, and there's now 1, 2, 3 key defenses which are wrecking heroes, and those are going to be around the town hall. So what he does is he is going to send those Electro Dragons in really quickly into the town hall to take all of those out. And with that this means there is no damage left. Yes, we have the multi-infernal towers, yes, there is a rage tower, but this is not like big threats to heroes. So the Electro-Dragons are just keep pushing through. It's all about just the eagle going down. At this point, it's one scatter, another scatter left alive, and there's just so many Electro-Dragons, right? But at the entire back end, all of the damage on the back end is gone. And this is where this strategy is just being so good to really make sure that you're getting high results with this. It's all about like understanding what are the key things to success, depending on the base, obviously. So for example, with a lot of air expos, it is obviously the heroes and the flame flinger especially. With the ground expos, this can be different. A lot of times you still try to set up your heroes to success to make sure that you're taking down damage for them and everything. But you can turn things around as well a little bit with making sure that your Electro Dragons then in the end are going to be the star player, with maybe taking other abilities like other buildings down early on and keep those Electro Dragons alive a bit longer because of the air expos. So it really depends, but most of the time we have the heroes being the star of the show, being the MVPs to finish the base. And this is exactly what he does on this one as well. I mean, obviously on every single attack in this video he swagged his Royal Champion and a ton of spells, as you should do. And he overall finished rank 13 with one of his accounts in the world in last season, which is quite impressive. I think this is by far the highest finish of any Electro Dragon attackers in the high ranks, which is not too bad. So if you want to give it a try, the link to the strategy is down below in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you think it's helpful, and I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next Clash video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.